Well, there's a few news articles I thought were interesting. There's this new AI chat machine that's getting a lot of buzz, Chat GPT, and people have used this to do a lot. It can write novels. It can write stories. It can write poems. But people are also using it to compose assembly code and to reverse assembly code back to high-level languages. It seems to do all these things extremely well. However, as they point out, it is just working by noticing patterns of text, and it doesn't understand anything it's doing. So they tried to make it stop giving you things like bad medical advice and instructions how to build a bomb and things like that. And what people found is their attempt to stop it from doing that is easily circumvented because it doesn't understand what it's doing. Here's the link if you want it. All these are on my samskice.info news page, but they're kind of hard to find. And what is this garbage? Join Twitch. Wait a minute. Oh, I'm not logged in. Let me see if I can figure out what this nonsense is. All right. Now hopefully I can get rid of this garbage. Twitch keeps popping up junk. Okay. Anyway, a lot of people are finding it can do interesting things, that new AI device. So AI is really coming in a hurry. This one I thought was quite interesting. So researchers wanted to see if IBM's cloud structure was secure, and they got permission from IBM to do a pretty deep penetration test. And what they found was there are credentials just lying around, and there are API keys lying around that you could use to connect to services and enumerate them, and then find more API keys, and then find more hard-coded passwords, and so on. And just by finding a whole series of stored passwords here and there, they were able to gain complete ability to get the access to change the stored basis modules, the stored templates that are used to spin up instances in their cloud infrastructure. So this is basically the problem of using hard-coded credentials, where the credentials are stored someplace like a file you can reach, or in the source code of a file you can reach, or else. They also found a way to reach history logs of what commands had been executed, and people are putting hard-coded credentials in there. So it's a very simple vulnerability, but it turned out to be a chain of these, turned out to be enough to completely compromise the IBM cloud. And of course they patched that, but it's very difficult to find all the places where copies of your passwords and such are being stored and clean them up. This one was very interesting. A university, Northwestern University, I think, Northeastern University, it had a division of the university that particularly analyzed the privacy implications of IoT devices. And then some administrator at the college decided to secretly deploy these things underneath every desk to detect from your temperature whether people are sitting at the desk, and monitor how many people are sitting at their desks without permission. And they freaked out and complained, and the administration just lied to them, and they hacked these things and proved they were insecure, proved that everything they'd been told was a lie. They'd been told they were encrypted, but they're not. And so they protested and hacked them and analyzed them and published findings saying these things are terrible, and anyway, eventually managed to stop it. It is interesting how much the administration just lied and lied and lied. They wouldn't explain what they were going to do with the data, why they were collecting it. Apparently they were getting money from somebody to get this information, or it was some attempt to pressure people into coming back despite COVID to fill the rooms so the people who paid for the building would feel like the rooms aren't being wasted, or something like that. But anyway, this is what I typically find every place I deal with, and it goes all the way back through human history. Management is like nobility. They feel like they know what is best, and that they have nothing but contempt for the people below them, and they just lie to you, and they feel like you're not smart enough to know the truth, and it's perfectly fine to just use you like a tool. And they can't understand that you'd like to actually know the truth. It's very, very common. All they have is they go from one lie to the next lie to the next lie. Not all authority figures are that way, but it is a very common failing in authority figures, that the only way they know how to deal with the people beneath them is to just trick them and lie to them. And Speaking of this, Mayor Breeden, the mayor of San Francisco, has talked about how she's going to fix the homeless problem, although obviously she hasn't. The homeless are everywhere. And now it is coming out that what she does is just what previous ones have done. She chooses certain parts of the city where she's planning to have a photo op, and she makes them shove the homeless out of that area, so you won't see the homeless in the photo op. And the other thing, of course, is they're violating the law right and left. The people, I guess the police or some other department like that, are being told to just sweep up the homeless, throw away all their stuff, even though there's nowhere to put them. And that is, in fact, illegal. You are not allowed to do a sweep of the homeless, pushing them out of their encampments, unless there is somewhere for them to go. And they're just falsifying documents saying that they declined to preserve their stuff when they just throw away their stuff, and saying there was a place to put them when there is no place to put them, and such like that, which is the same thing everyone's always done with the homeless. They just sort of go in and like shove them out, and all they do is move down a few blocks and go somewhere else. That's all you do. I think it's the same with the drug dealers. You sweep them out of one area, they just move a few blocks down and go to the next area. You'd have to actually increase the amount of housing if you wanted to actually improve any of this. And that's very difficult. So anyway, this is this ChatGPT. People are saying it's better than Google. They can answer questions, and people are very, very impressed by it. So you might want to try this thing out. I haven't tried it yet, but other people are trying it and finding it can do all sorts of amazing things. Wipers are wiping out Russian servers. And this one pretends to be a crypto ransomware, where it makes your files unreadable and pops up a box saying you can get your files back by sending some Bitcoin to this address, and whether you do or not, you can never get your files back. It's just destroying them. So that's sort of a new variant on things. The wiper's been around for about a decade, and wipers are things that just destroy files or destroy the whole operating system on a computer just to make it unusable. And it is used for various purposes. Here, though, it might make them money in addition to harming your target. And Black Proxies is a proxy service that will let you evade IP filtering. Most people filter known malicious IP addresses, and so you bounce off other people's IP addresses. And what these guys do is they use various servers all over the place, but a lot of them appear to be compromised home machines, where people got malware running on their home machine, and now their home machine is being used to relay attack traffic to others. And so these guys, they call this residential proxies. Your traffic will appear to come from random residents, and therefore will sail through most IP address blockages. And of course, this is illegal, but there's an interesting article talking about how they analyze it and determine how likely it is they're doing something illegal and what can be done about it. So this is one of the lawyers suing Elon Musk for his layoffs. And I thought this was a very nice, interesting, well-written article, written letter by the lawyer that just says, what Musk is doing, you're absolutely illegal. You're denying people the pay they're supposed to have and the severance they're supposed to have, and just pretending you can just ignore the law, and we know you can't, so just cough it up, because if you go to court, you're going to lose. It seemed very likely to be true. This is what I've heard all the analysts of Elon Musk say. Like Donald Trump, he's just gotten used to ignoring all the laws, ignoring the guardrails, blasting through the speed signs. He just feels like laws don't apply to him, and he can do anything he wants, and that has largely been true. And so we'll see if any of these lawsuits actually cause him to have any accountability for his decisions. This is just the way it used to be with nobility. They can just do anything they want, and the laws don't apply to them. Anyway, this group here, I'll put in the chat, these people have 6 free training courses you can take. They're at the bottom of this page. And so that might be of great interest. There they are. Digital forensics, threat hunting, vulnerability management, network analysis, and so on. You might want to try to look at them. You can't beat the price. Their introductory courses are free. And I think I'll stop this news.